Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God, back with you with the next video in my series reading Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Without further ado, returning to Oliver Twist, as read by Lord Naren White.
Stand still a moment, and I'll get you the one,
replied the voice.
The receding footsteps of the speaker were heard,
and in another minute the form of Mr. John Dawkins, otherwise the Artful Dodger, appeared. He bore in his right hand a tallow candle stuck in the end of a cleft cheek. The young gentleman did not stop to bestow any other mark of recognition upon Oliver than a humorous grin, but turning away beckoned the visitors to follow him down a flight of stairs. They crossed an empty kitchen and, opening the door of a low earthy-smelling room, which seemed to have been built in a small backyard, were received with a shout of laughter.
"Oh, my wig,"
cried Master Charles Bates, from whose lungs the laughter had proceeded.
"Here he is. Oh, cry, here he is. Oh, Fagin, look at him. Fagin, do look at him. I can't bear it. It is such a jolly game, I can't bear it. Hold me, somebody, while I laugh it out."
With this irrepressible ebullition of mirth, Master Bates laid himself flat on the floor and kicked convulsively for 5 minutes in an ecstasy of facetious joy. Then, jumping to his feet, he snatched the cleft stick from the Dodger, and advancing to Oliver, viewed him round and round, while the Jew, taking off his nightcap, made a great number of low blows to the bewildered boy. The Artful, meantime, who was of a rather saturnine disposition, gave way to merriment when it interfered with business, rifled Oliver's pockets with steady acidity.
"Look at his togs, Fagin,"
said Charlie, putting the light so close to his new jacket as nearly to set him on fire.
"Look at his togs. Superfine cloth, and the heavy swell cut. Oh my, what a game! And his books too. Nothing but a gentleman, Fagin. Delighted to see you looking so well, my dear,"
said the Jew, bowing with mock humility.
"The Artful shall give you another sweet, my dear, for fear you should spoil that Sunday one. Why didn't you write, my dear, and say you were coming? We'd have got something warm for supper."
At his Master Bates roared again, so loud that Fagin himself relaxed, and even the Dodger smiled. But as the Artful drew forth from the 5-pound note at that instant, it is doubtful whether the sally of the discovery awakened his merriment.
"Hallo, what's that?"
inquired Sikes, stepping forward as the Jew seized the note.
"That's mine, Fagin." No, my dear," said the Jew. "Mine, Bill, mine. You shall have the books." "If that ain't mine," said Bill Sikes,
putting on his hat with a determined air.
"Mine and Nancy's, that is. I'll take the boy back again."
The Jew started. Oliver started too, though from a very different cause, for he hoped that the dispute might really end in his being taken back.
"Come, hand over, will you?"
said Sikes.
"This is hardly fair." "Bill, hardly fair, is it, Nancy?"
inquired the Jew.
Fair or not fair, retorted Sikes. Hand over, I tell you. Do you think Nancy and me has got something else to do with our precious time, but got to spend it in scouting Arthur and kidnapping? Every young boy as he gets grabbed through you. Give it here, you avaricious old skeleton, give it here.
With this gentle remonstrance, Mr. Sikes plucked the note from between the Jew's finger and thumb, and looking the old man coolly in the face, folded it up small and tied it in his neckerchief.
That's for our share of the trouble, said Sikes, and not half enough neither. You may keep the books if you're fond of reading. If you ain't, sell 'em. They're very pretty, said Charley Bates, who with sundry grimaces had been affecting to read one of those volumes in question. Beautiful writing, isn't it, Oliver? At first sight of the dismayed look with which Oliver regarded his tormentors, Master Bates, who was blessed with a lively sense of the ludicrous, fell into another ecstasy, more boisterous than the first. They belong to the old gentleman, said Oliver, wringing his hands. To the good kind, old gentleman, who took me into his house and had me nursed, when I was near dying of the fever. Oh, pray send them back. Send him back the books and money. Keep me here all my life long, but pray send them back. He'll think I stole them, and the old lady, all of them who were so kind to me, will think I stole them. Oh, do have mercy upon me, and send them back.
With these words, which were uttered with all the energy of passionate grief, Oliver fell upon his knees at the Jew's feet and beat his hands together in perfect desperation.
The boy's right, remarked Fagin, looking covertly around and knitting his shaggy eyebrows into a hard knot. You're right, Oliver, you're right. They will think that you've stolen them. Ha ha!
Chuckled the Jew, rubbing his hands.
It couldn't have happened better if we had chosen our time. Of course it couldn't, replied Sikes. I knowed that. Directly, I see him coming through Clerkenwell, with the books under his arm. It's all right enough. They're soft-hearted, palm singers, or they wouldn't have taken him in at all, and they'll ask no questions after him. Fear they should be obliged to prosecute, and so get him lagged. He's safe enough.
Oliver had looked from one to the other, while these words were being spoken, as if he were bewildered, and could scarcely understand what passed. But when Bill Sikes concluded, he jumped suddenly to his feet and tore wildly from the room, uttering shrieks for help, which made the bare old house echo to the roof.
Keep back the dog, Bill,
cried Nancy, springing before the door, and closing it as the Jew and his two pupils darted out in pursuit.
Keep back the dog. He'll tear the boy to pieces. Serve him right, cried Sikes, struggling to disengage from the girl's grasp. Stand off from me, or I'll split your head against the wall. I don't care for that, Bill. I don't care for that, screamed the girl, struggling violently with the man. The child shan't be torn down by the dog unless you kill me first. Shan't he? Said Sikes, setting his teeth. I'll soon do that if you don't keep off.
The housebreaker flung the girl from him to the further end of the room, just as the Jew and the two boys returned, dragging Oliver among them. What's the matter here? Said Fagin, looking around. The girl's gone mad, I think, replied Sikes savagely. No, she hasn't, said Nancy, pale and breathless from the scuffle. No, she hasn't, Fagin. Don't think it. Then keep quiet, will you? Said the Jew with a threatening look. No, that won't do neither, replied Nancy, speaking very loud.
Come, what do you think of that?
Mr. Fagin was sufficiently well acquainted with the manners and customs of that particular species of humanity to which Nancy belonged, to feel tolerably certain that it would be rather unsafe to prolong any conversation with her at present. With the view of diverting the attention of the company, he turned to Oliver.
So you wanted to get away, my dear, did you?
Said the Jew, taking up a jagged and knotted club which lay in a corner of the fireplace.
Eh?
Oliver made no reply, but he watched the Jew's motions and breathed quickly.
Wanted to get assistance. Called for the police, did you?
Sneered the Jew, catching the boy by the arm.
We'll cure you of that, my young master.
The Jew inflicted a smart blow on Oliver's shoulders with the club, and was raising it for a second, when the girl came rushing forward and wrested it from his hand. She flung it into the fire with a force that brought some of the glowing coals whirling out into the room. We'll go ahead and stop there for this week. As usual, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Light be with you all. Take care, and thanks again.